This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today's 2/17/21, show 207. And we're looking at some selling pressure. Nick, I'm starting to worry if it's too late to go to In the Money Stocks to get that trade of the decade. Because, man, like, I took it and I am up like bigly today. I was shocked when I looked at my portfolio this morning and after the markets open and how much it was up.
Well, this is nothing, so it's not too late. Again, I don't think this has really even started yet, so that's the good news. But again, we got the markets under some early pressure today, so it's going to be important to see how the major stock indexes close today. Overall, we really want to take a look at the volume. We want to see what the volume is by the end of the day. That'll tell us a lot more. Lately, every market dip's been a buying opportunity. So basically, the trend has been up and everybody's been dip buyers continually, but that will come to an end eventually. So we'll see where we finish today. That'll tell us a lot more going forward.
Yeah. Hey, well, in the long run, as John Maynard Keynes said, we're all dead, right?
I try not to listen to that Keynes guy too much.
Well, that was one thing he happened to be correct about, though. You got to admit.
Well, he was actually right about a lot of things, and a lot of people adopted his philosophies and theories. So we'll see when the history books are written what they say about Keynes.
Yeah, well, we know, there's a lot of evil stuff about him, no doubt, and they're still trying to prove out his system now, and it's not working too good. So we got early selling pressure. What's that mean now?
So, this is probably the first trading day in a while since really late January that we've seen the markets actually have a pretty decent broad-based decline. So today we're looking at a lot of different individual sectors falling, but most importantly, we're seeing the Nasdaq fall. And the Nasdaq has been a pretty good winner this year overall. And we're seeing the Nasdaq come under some distribution. Right now, it's only down about 1%, so it's no death sentence. But as I've been saying, the Russell 2000 has been the one index where you got to keep an eye on because that's very, very overbought. It's parabolic. It's bloated. Been a major winner in 2021, but that's down 1.52%. So anytime I see the Russell and the Nasdaq either first and second place on the downside, I want to take note of that. That's a very, very important 1-2 punch. And today they're both lower, and the Russell is leading things lower. So we'll look and see what the close looks like. We're going to look at the volume today. Lots of different things that I go through each and every day. But as I've been saying, I've been very, very cautious over the past week or so. I thought we would get a sell-off in January, late January. We did that, and then we got a nice bounce, which is usually what will happen. You'll get another bounce, and this time the bounce went to new highs. Now I think traders got to be really, really cautious here because these markets have been giving me a lot of distribution signals. And when I get multiple distribution signals each and every day, I know we're on borrowed time here.
Hey, and of course, so here's the question. You gave us a warning in 2020, right around mid-January, saying be very, very cautious. And again, getting into February, we all know what happened after that. Is past going to be prologue here for you, Nick?
I don't know if it'll play out exactly like that. This time around, it's a little bit different. You got to remember, always when you get a top, it's a process, right? It's not like a bottom where a bottom you get you get that big, hard, heavy volume sell off, and you run out of sellers, and next thing you know, it gets a big bounce, and we call it a V bottom. The tops are different because what we call is a rounded top, and that's why we get hence the name of that term. But so they're a little bit tougher to identify overall. But what you have to do is really you have to look at the underpinnings of the charts, and you have to look at all of these different equities, leading industry groups, and so many different things that I look at, more than I could even talk about here. But when I look at these things, I've been getting a lot of distribution signals. And when I see that, then I'm a bit concerned. And I've been, putting up the caution flag really since late January. I traded that move down, and then I caught the bounce too. So, I got out of all my shorts, and then I reloaded. So now, I'm reloaded again. And right now, we're seeing a pretty good sell-off day. We'll see if it can continue into the close. I happen to think there's a good chance it will.
Hey, the VIX is up today, huh?
Yes, you do have the VIX up pretty nicely today as we speak. And again, it's up about 7.5%, only a $1.60 pop. But I think the VIX can go a lot higher from here.
All right. Well, that's why you need to go to In the Money Stocks to check all this out. So we're also in the midst of options expiration, or as our neighbors to the north, the Canadians like to say, option expiry. And, another thing to throw into the pot to stir it up.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of times with options expiration, we're going to see a lot of institutional game playing into the end of the week. Now, the institutions can move stocks any way they want for 4 to 5 days. That's not a big problem. It does become a problem, though, if the markets sell and they're not prepared for it. So that would be an issue. So we'll see how this plays out. This is going to be an interesting options X because, we always talk about the quarterly expirations. This one is just a monthly, but it comes at an interesting time period, right in the middle of February. And again, this is usually a time where you get a lot of institutional game playing. It's not favorable to the retail options trader, but we'll see how this one plays out too, because it'll be very, very important as we go into the latter part of the month.
All right. Well, that's interesting there. Quickly, gold and silver. Gold's being hit again. I have a theory about this. Has nothing to do with the fundamentals. First, when the new administration comes in, they slam it 40, 50, 75 bucks. Comes back a bit. Now we're getting ready for stimulus, which in and of itself is a plus for the metals and a negative for the currency. So they're making their last stand.
Maybe. I'm never good at the story, and that's the one thing I've always tried to tell all of my members. I said, I don't know the story. What I do know is the charts. I've been pretty adamant about saying we're going to get some more backing and filling. Ultimately, got to go down to the low 1700 level where I think gold will start to stabilize. Could it be 1725, somewhere down there? I think that's probably a decent area. The GLD, I think we're going to go down to the low 160s. And then, if you look at the GDX, I think, we got to go down and test the 31 area. And that's where that will start stabilizing. So, I've been looking for more backing and filling. Even when we have those big bounces, I've been saying don't get too excited about them. This is just part of the pattern. And again, we could still get some bounces from here too. So we'll just have to sit tight, but let these things get down into their appropriate levels. And then I think there's plays in those trades, in those equities.
And the bullish thing is that silver is behaving much stronger relative strength-wise, price action than gold, which means there's been a change in precious metals leadership, and we won't even talk about platinum. Platinum's on a tear. All of these things are pointing to something big is going to be happening in metals in the not-too-distant future.
Well, we've been talking on this program saying that, the chart of silver is so much stronger than the chart of gold right now, especially on a daily chart basis. So, again, if anybody's going to look to pick up some metals, silver is still the place to be, in my opinion.
All right. Silver is still the place to be, and we will leave it at that. Go over to inthemoneystocks.com. Sign up now. Don't miss that trade of the decade and perhaps of a lifetime. It's not too late. And take a look at the Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago 01, at Kerry Lutz. Email to kl@kerrylutz.com. Nick will pick up tomorrow.
Sounds good, Kerry.
And so concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. Be sure to go to his website, inthemoneystocks.com. Don't forget the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.